take number 5. So anyway, take number 3 was good. Take number 4 fell apart in the middle. Anyway, this is my pint mug that I made, and you saw how I did that. I cut the multiple layers of rings out. But I had a friend of mine who was wondering why I didn't go with vertical slats on it, and or staves. I think that might be the right word to use a barrel making term. But you know what? Challenge accepted. So with that in mind, well, first off, I thought about doing a 1 liter mug, but I figured that was a little over the top. So instead, I'm going to try to replicate a ½ liter mug, or well, a pint mug, a shorter pint mug. So that's going to be the difference here. So anyway, I sat down and I ran some figures, ran some numbers, and I did this online. Oh, well, not online, but on PowerPoint, and found some calculators online. And I figured out that if I made a decagon, a 10-sided figure that had 1-inch sides on it, that if it was 4 inches deep, which is about what we're looking at right here, then I'm going to get just over a ½ liter of volume, and that's significantly more than a pint, which is exactly what I'm looking for. So so that's fine, and that's what I'm going to do, which means I would have to cut out 10 pieces of wood that have 1-inch widths on them. But the thing is, I need some gluing surfaces, which means I have to angle or I have to bevel the sides of each of my staves that I cut out, or each of my blanks that I cut out. And figuring out the angle on those is easy. I've got 10 pieces I want to cut out. 360 degrees in a circle divided by 10 pieces is, well, 36 degrees per piece. However, because each piece is going to be mating, that angle gets cut in half, so each piece is going to get beveled at 18 degrees. Now, if you have a board, and I'll come back to the board here in a second, that's 1/4 inch thick, and you bevel it at 18 degrees, well, you're going to add an extra 1/4 inch to each end, which means my lengths my blanks, thank you, are going to be 1.5 inches wide. Not quite, but close enough. So what I'm going to end up needing to do is cut myself 10 blanks, 1.5 inches wide, 5 inches long, and I'll come back and explain the 5 inches long later on as well. 5 inches long, and then I'm going to have to go back through and I'm going to have to bevel each side of the blank at 18 degrees. Piece of cake, okay? But we'll come back to that. So next thing I want to talk about real quick, though, is the choice of wood. And this is a piece of birch that I got down at my big box hardware store. It's solid birch wood, not plywood. You never want to use plywood when you're doing any kind of food application. But a lot of people would choose oak for this, and there's nothing really wrong with oak. I just don't trust it to be as watertight as maple or the birch will. Just because of the way it works, but we're not dealing with ingrain, so I don't think it would be an issue. But you know what? Don't want to take the chances. So anyway, I have this nice piece of birch. Looks pretty. It's pretty solid. So you know what? With that, I think it's well, if it wasn't getting dark outside, it would be time to get to work. So probably take off on this in the morning. So anyway, I'll put more calculations and other notes up like I normally do, and you know what? Here we go. Okay. Yeah, I know I don't look that good, but yeah, it's all good. Anyway, so what I did was four small glue ups, just two pieces each, and then two of those pieces got glued up. So the two piece sub assemblies got glued up, and then on top of that, I added one spare piece to each one of them. So I have two pieces with, well, you can see there, 5 pieces on there. Now, it looks like I've got 2 good half semicircles, but either from, an irregularity when I cut them or when I was gluing them up or whatever, I don't quite have mating surfaces. But that's not a problem, and that's why you go to this. Microwave's done. I'll get back to that. So anyway, that's why you go to. That's why you go to. You know what? Let me go take care of the microwave. I'll be right back. Hold that thought. Okay. So anyway, the plan is to go out, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on my bench sander, and I'm going to take these 2 pieces that are supposed to mate, and I'm just going to set them on the bench sander for a few seconds, just long enough to get good flat edges on each side, and that's going to give me solid mating edges, and that's going to give me a nice, well, as of right now, a nice big epic mug to work on. So, but I've got some plans for after that. So anyway, I will come back and show you what that looks like when I'm done with it. So, talk to you in a bit. All right, there we go. And you can see I've got a pretty good joint there going, and it's going to go all the way around. However, before I can glue the 2 halves in place, I have some interior sanding to do. So, yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and take all this down by hand. I like the look of the 10-sided figure on the inside, so I want to keep that in place. And then, but then after I get that done, it's going to be time for an epic amount of sanding. But we will come back to that. So stay tuned. Okay, here it is. One finished birch pint mug. And will it hold a pint? Well, you know what? I've got 2¼ cups of water right here. So, right at the top. Holds up, well, you know what? It holds just a hair over ½ a liter, which is what I was aiming for. The math was spot on. So, you know what? So anyway, the finish on this, as you saw, was beeswax, and it was actually kind of a hassle putting the beeswax on, but I think it's going to give it a good waterproof finish. But what makes it a lot easier to put on is heating the mug up with a candle, or you could put it in your oven. However, if you do that, I take zero responsibility for anything that happens to your work. So, but if you're going to put it in the oven, put it on very low oven, 150, 175 degrees at most, just enough to make this hot to the touch, hot enough to melt the wax. So anyway, so with that, I think I do deserve a drink, and unfortunately, I don't have any beer in the house because I wasn't expecting to finish this thing up. On the other hand, though, I do have, well, I do have a couple of choices here. So, you know what, with that, well, let's see. Yeah, with that, if I flip a heads, we'll go with the wine cooler. If I flip a tail, I'll go with the hard lemonade. So, who do I got here? I got John. So, anyway, toss, catch, flip. I don't know what it is. It is... Oh, it's his. All right, well, I don't know if this is a suitably epic drink for this suitably epic mug, but you know what? It will do the trick. So, with that, let's get the pour. Okay, and it's pouring nicely. Yeah, not only will this thing hold a liter, it holds a liter. So it is watertight, which is important. So anyway, I have an Exotic Fairy Bartles & James wine cooler here. With that, thank you for your support. Talk to you later. Bye.